A few miles north of Flagstaff, Arizona, the San Francisco peaks form a majestic backdrop to this small city. Visible for miles in all directions, they are especially prominent to the east, where beyond Sunset Crater and the Cinder Hills, sprawled across the arid painted desert and beyond, lies the land of the Navajo people. Numbering over 170,000 tribal members, they dwell in small townships, villages, and solitary dwellings spread over 27,000 square miles of rugged terrain, much of it visually imposing. In their culture, they are not Navajo, for this was a name given them by Spanish explorers in the 17th century. They call themselves Diné, which means our people and our way of life. Traditional Navajo culture remains strong in the remote areas of the res, as it is known, but the realities of the encircling civilization, that of modern America, has challenged the Navajo to adapt, as all civilizations must to survive. The key to their survival as a distinct people is a homeland and functional social organization. All human societies reveal cultural characteristics that reflect their origins in psychological traits. This video focuses on how these traits manifest in Navajo society today. The blue archetype causes a person to operate on feelings shaped by the past. When dominant, this trait makes a person conservative. In a society, it creates a culture shaped by traditions, handed down knowledge, and its own version of history. The heart of any culture is its language. Its words give sound and meaning to the environment and its features, and to the everyday activities of a people. The language of the Navajo they call Diné Bizard. It remains widely spoken across the Navajo Nation, and it is used to relate Navajo lore and legends. Cultures borrow from one another through choice or necessity. Occasionally, a foreign culture is imposed through attempts at cultural conversion, as happened to the Navajo and other Native American tribes. Ironically, the reservation system and self-rule allowed native tribes to preserve many aspects of their cultures, albeit on land of little use to American settlers. Before that, there had been borrowings from the Spanish, horses for transportation, and sheep for meat and wool. Today, the Navajo Nation has a democratic government organized along Western lines. It features an environmental protection agency that fits naturally with Native American traditions of honoring the land and its features as living beings. There's also a division of Diné education, an initiative by the Navajo government to preserve Diné Bizard as a living language. Across the Navajo Nation, traditions survive in various ways, through arts and crafts, festivals and ceremonies, and, iconically, in the role of the shaman or medicine man. Across the Navajo Nation, hogans and sweat lodges too preserve a way of life. The North archetype drives a person to make decisions based on his or her knowledge and personal objectives. In a society, the same drive enables leadership to make decisions based on collective knowledge and the needs of its people. The Navajo Nation has a democratically elected government and jurisdiction over its own affairs, though it is subject to federal laws. In that regard, it functions as a state. The government consists of various departments that oversee community housing and infrastructure, as well as extensive social services. It actively promotes economic self-reliance among the Navajo people. Recently, its leadership has moved to make its system of government more in line with Navajo cultural principles and realities. This means reorganization of electoral and governance processes by the Navajo themselves, as opposed to reliance on non-native expertise, which embodies the values and ideas of mainstream America. The Navajo government has been addressing social problems that, while applying to American society in general, are particularly acute on the reservation. These stem mainly from unemployed males, the breakdown of traditional social bonds, and a subculture that relies on drugs and alcohol funded by beggary as an escape from hopelessness. Concomitant problems are violence, murder, and suicide. No laws or decrees or government reorganization can change this. New ideas are needed. The red archetype governs female sexuality and the desire to bear and raise children and keep a nurturing home for them. The Navajo birth rate has declined markedly over the past 40 years, yet remains significantly higher than the national average. Navajo support for motherhood is provided by a branch of its government, the Navajo Division for Children and Family Services. There is also the Healthy Navajo Ka'ep Project, which provides support for pregnant women. A traditional ceremony honors girls entering womanhood, marked not by her age but by her first menstruation. This 4-day rite of passage, called Kinaalda, culminates with a series of songs overseen by a medicine man. A surprising aspect of women's place in Navajo society is its matrilineal clan system. Children belong to the mother's clan, not the father's. Inheritance of land and hogans is through the female line of succession. Households tend to be multi-generational, indicating strong family bonds, especially on the female side. Traditional occupations of Navajo women carried on today include sheep herding and crafts such as weaving blankets, rugs, baskets, clothing and tapestry, and making silver jewelry inlaid with turquoise. Since 1985, women have had roles to play in Navajo government too. Women are represented on the tribal council, where they are influential in environment and land usage affairs. The South archetype drives male sexuality, attraction to women, and the will to procreate. It also creates a need to work balanced by a need for pleasure. Regarding fatherhood, the current birth rate among the Navajo is estimated at 2.5 to 3 children per woman, significantly higher than the national average of 1.6 to 1.7. Traditional craftsmanship survives among the Navajo. This includes carvings and pottery, and from the 19th century learned from a Mexican man silversmithing. Besides tribal use, the crafts are sold to tourists for extra income. The Navajo Nation promotes a modern business environment, prioritizing Navajo-owned businesses for its contracts and purchases. Employment opportunities exist for construction and engineering, also in retail and hospitality, consulting services, and information technology. Tribal government support ranges from startup capital for entrepreneurs to workforce development for local industries. Its comprehensive economic development strategy seeks to expand industrial parks and commercial land while creating projects to support agriculture, livestock, and renewable energy. Unemployment within the Navajo Nation is reported at 48.5% of the potential workforce and is a severe social problem. The rate is far higher among Navajo who live on the reservation than those who live outside. While Navajo life expectancy is estimated between 71 and 72 years at birth, the difference by gender is stark, with males averaging about 57 years. The difference is attributed to male self-harm, alcoholism, and accidental injury. The male lifespan is well below the national average and below that reported for other Native American groups. While alcohol sales are mostly banned on the reservation, alcoholism is a major problem. I have heard of men on the res trying to buy hairspray and similar alcohol-containing products. They have a name for these toxic liquids: ocean water. The green archetype creates sympathy in a person and the need to help others. In society, it leads to organizations that provide healthcare, guidance and counseling, aid for the elderly, and charity. With healthcare, the Navajo Area Indian Health Service, or IHS, provides modern medical facilities across the Navajo Nation. This includes 5 hospitals and 12 full and part-time clinics. In addition, self-governing tribal health corporations operate several hospitals and healthcare facilities. Outpatient mental health services are provided by the Navajo Nation Division of Behavioral Health Services. Navajo society features multiple charities and community support organizations. Together they fund school supplies, scholarships, housing renovation, agricultural development and business initiatives. They also provide essential supplies such as water, food, hygiene products and disaster relief. Traditional Navajo culture takes a holistic view of the relationship between mankind, all creatures, and the environment. All are seen as interconnected and require respect and nurture for society to prosper. A Navajo must aspire to be in harmony with nature. Traditional healing methods survive on the reservation and, interestingly, have been integrated into some Navajo medical facilities where traditional healers form part of patient care teams. Navajo medicine men learn their profession through lengthy apprenticeship. They treat illnesses through traditional methods that involve herbal remedies, rituals, and ceremonies. They also provide community counseling and education based on Navajo spiritual beliefs. Some rituals use traditional sweat lodges for spiritual purification. Similar healing rituals and spiritual guidance is offered by the Navajo shaman. Whereas a medicine man is chosen for the profession, the shaman is influenced by unusual dreams and visions to pursue the path, which also involves apprenticeship, learning shamanic lore, and undergoing personal trials. Healing methods include sand painting, chants, and divination designed to summon healing energy from the spirit world. The East archetype motivates a person to communicate ideas. In society, it drives the distribution of information. Language is the essence of communication. The Navajo use English and their native tongue, Diné Bizard. However, only about 2% of Navajo are estimated to use Diné Bizard exclusively at home. About 72% of Navajo speak English only, while around 26% speak both languages. Cultural communication is the purpose of education systems. For the Navajo, this means becoming conversant not only with mainstream American culture, but also with Navajo history, language, ways, and beliefs. To that end, the Department of Diné Education oversees a total of 64 schools, half state-run, half tribally operated. The Navajo Nation supports higher education by providing scholarships, internships, and other assistance for its people to attend universities in surrounding states. Navajo-focused news and entertainment is provided by 2 newspapers and several radio stations. The Navajo Times has existed since 1959 and is published in English on the Navajo Nation. A weekly newspaper that serves both Navajo and Hopi communities is the Navajo Hopi Observer. Navajo language radio stations include KTNN, which broadcasts from Window Rock, Arizona, KNDN out of Farmington, New Mexico, and KGAK from Gallup, New Mexico. Transparent government is vital for a well-functioning society. The Navajo Nation communicates news, policy updates, and public announcements through government websites and press releases. Traditional Navajo decision-making is grounded in oral tradition and community consensus. Tribal elders and leading community figures use storytelling, ceremonies, and public gatherings to transmit cultural heritage and strengthen Navajo identity. The yellow archetype creates a need to express emotions in some form, usually through art. In society, it leads to the public display and performance of artistic works. Navajo creative expression takes various traditional forms. The most well-known are weaving, pottery, and jewelry. Their intricate designs often represent Navajo mythology and may incorporate personal and clan symbols. Sand paintings made from colored sands and crushed rocks, among other things, are a distinct Navajo art form originally used in healing ceremonies. Creativity is a hallmark of Navajo dance with over 20 traditional forms, including the hoop dance, sash belt dance, and various ceremonial, seasonal, and healing dances. The basket dance celebrates basket weaving and incorporates movements based on the weaving process itself. The dances are enhanced by colorful costumes that incorporate beads and feathers in imaginative arrangements. The music may utilize drums, rattles, and bull roarers, also known as groaning sticks, made from pine wood treated with yucca pitch. Modern literary themes are used by Navajo authors and poets in memoirs and to address cultural identity, Navajo community, and oral history. Contemporary Navajo music ventures beyond traditional chants into genres ranging from country music to rock and rap, delivered in both English and Navajo languages. Navajo leadership provides outlets for artistic endeavors through county fairs and the prestigious September Festival in Window Rock, Arizona. The Navajo Nation also offers funding programs and cultural grants that support film, music, and literature, as well as the preservation of traditional art forms. Non-government agencies also support Navajo creativity. These include the Native Arts Plus Cultures Foundation, Yaego Action Grant, the Nahata Foundation, and the Navajo Nation Library. The Navajo education system fosters artistic expression through its arts curriculum, although with a bias towards Diné language and culture. In the visual arts, students use cultural symbols and patterns to create pottery and textiles, while in music and education, traditional instruments are featured. Ceremonial dances are taught too. Driven by curiosity, the West archetype creates a desire to learn and solve problems. In society, it leads to higher education and the veneration of intellectual achievement. Knowledge is founded in observation. Repeated observations coupled with historical memory, storytelling, intuitions, dreams, and visions accrete over time to form cultural lore. For the Navajo, this has formed a philosophy that reaches into every corner of its culture, beliefs, practices, art, and ceremonies. Its philosophy centers on harmony, balance, and respect for all creatures and the land as manifestations of a universal spirit. Possessors of traditional knowledge are the medicine men and shamans. Navajo knowledge is embedded in its language, its arts, even in its tradition of raising corn, beans, and squash. Today, Navajo knowledge remains rooted in the Diné tradition of integrating a spiritual worldview with personal and community prosperity and care for the land. Thus, it emphasizes environmental science to combat climate change and better manage its land. Traditional knowledge forms the basis of the Diné philosophy of education. part of the Navajo Technical University based in Tignos Paz, Arizona. Comprehensive modern education is provided by the Department of Diné Education, Diné College, and community-based programs. These can lead to professional certification and associate and master's degrees. The Navajo Nation further supports higher education by offering scholarships and internships. Modern research methods are used by the Navajo Research Program in projects to benefit the Navajo people. These focus on environmental studies, plant medicine research, pandemic response, and trauma healing. Materials science and engineering projects are being conducted in collaboration with Harvard University. Academic achievement is recognized through the Navajo Nation's most prestigious award, the Chief Manuelito Scholarship, which honors exceptional academic performance that includes proficiency in the Navajo language and native history. The white and middle archetypes create self-awareness and the ability to integrate the other psychological traits. White focuses on feelings and emotions, middle on thoughts and ideas. In society, they represent governance and the willingness to recognize and remedy social problems. How does Navajo Nation government fare with respect to integration? Firstly, is it the sole governing authority across its territory? Well, the answer is largely yes. There are caveats. The Navajo Nation functions as a U.S. state with similar powers, hence it is subject to all federal laws. Some federal programs, however, administer parts of the Navajo reservation, which consists of tribal trust lands, federal or public lands, and other areas, each subject to different federal rules. This makes governance a challenge. On the other hand, there are no independent power structures, no warlords or regions under direct clan rule, but there are over 200 criminal gangs that operate beyond government control. How fully does Navajo government represent the interests of its people? While there is no current evidence of systematic corruption in Navajo leadership, which by all accounts is democratically elected in fair elections, the Navajo clan system exerts a powerful pull. This can be perceived as bias or as preservation of Navajo tradition. Still, competing clan interests do cause political tension. Moderating clan influence is the fact that every Navajo identifies with 4 clans: the mothers, fathers, maternal grandmothers, and paternal grandmothers. As for criminality, there is evidence that the Navajo justice system serves equitably and corrupt tribal officials are prosecuted. Evidence that the Navajo Nation seeks to improve its governance is the ongoing Navajo-led effort to write its own constitution. Up to now, traditional ways have largely dictated the process. These reforms are an outgrowth of a political crisis in 1989 created by corruption in the chairman's office, resulting from an over-concentration of power. The reforms aim to create more efficient and equitable governance while embedding core Navajo values, these being an emphasis on communal prosperity, collective decision-making, gender equality, respect for all life, and protection of the environment. An unusual indicator of the wide archetypal presence in Navajo society is the continued role of the shaman. In the Navajo language, a shaman is a hatali, able to access the spiritual world or deeper psyche and obtain information to benefit individuals and the community. Shamans operate as healers and spiritual guides and perpetuate Navajo traditions and cultural beliefs through rituals and ceremonies. Primary observation is that Navajo society has the feeling-oriented feminine archetypes well established, less so the idea-oriented masculine archetypes. Here, much of the development is inherited from the dominant American culture. In the Navajo Nation's desire to preserve the Navajo language, we see the influence of the blue archetype, which is the guardian of tradition. The value of motherhood, the red archetype, is shown by the matrilinear system of property inheritance. Emphasis on balance and harmony reveals a strong green influence, while yellow has fostered an abundance of creative expression, from dances and costumes to sound paintings and pottery. Government organization along state lines reveals the influence of North leadership. By far the most problematic issue facing the Navajo is joblessness. Driven by the South archetype, unemployed Navajo men can descend into drug addiction and criminality. Modern technology aids communication across the res, which illustrates the East archetype. However, remote areas often lack access. West propels the quest for knowledge. Still, while education attainment rates on the res are adequate, underfunding has led to overcrowding in school classrooms and a shortage of information technology. The feeling-oriented archetypes are well integrated into Navajo society, from mothers to tribal leaders. The idea-oriented archetypes less so. The biggest problem is joblessness among males. Following high school, the Navajo government needs to encourage young men to work outside the res while residing inside. A socialist system of government may be necessary, with the Navajo Nation acting as employer of last resort while promoting private business. The push for a Navajo written constitution promises to better integrate native heritage and modern Western ways. Finally, Navajo society would benefit from a modern shaman, a person who combines traditional Navajo knowledge with Western science and practices. Such a person would be a valuable advisor to Navajo leadership. I'm Malcolm Hornby, and thanks for viewing.